Hello everybody, I'm Mary Rose Feldman and welcome back to my studio. We are on to day 2 of Free Class Week. So as always, I'm grateful that you're here and I'm thankful for our time to tangle together. So let's just get right into it. We're going to have a moment of gratitude. Take as long as you like on this step. Gentle inhale and exhale. Notice any areas of your body that might be tense. And when you exhale, just invite that body part to relax. So that might be drop your shoulders. It might be relaxing your jaw. It might be loosening up your fingers. Whatever feels tight and tense. On the exhale, just think about releasing that tension. No judgment. Just notice. You can pause this for as long as you want. Today's tile affirmation is, my inner critic is in timeout, so I can enjoy creative play. Have a nice moment of gratitude. Take as long as you like to relax and transition into your tangling time. I'm going to go ahead and move on. So there's our affirmation today. Randomly chosen from my affirmation deck, and that's the artwork for those who like to see the artwork. Okay, so we are going to practice just a little bit the tangle that we're going to do today. This one is 2 tangles. I think most of the tiles this week are going to be 1 or 2 tangles. That seems to be a nice flow when I do these simple tangles, these simple tiles. 1 or 2 tangles is really all you need. Play with them and enjoy it. So the tangle we're going to do is called Fluxism. And it is by Camilla Louie. And I'm practicing this on a separate piece of paper just so that you can get used to the pen stroke. So somewhere on your paper, put an orb. Small to medium orb. Okay. And I'm going to ask you to just watch this pen stroke before you try it. And I'll give you a moment to try it. Okay. So I'm going to start on this orb and I'm going to do a takeoff. A takeoff means that I'm starting on a line and I'm redrawing the line before I separate into my pen stroke. Okay, so I'm starting on the line, nice takeoff. I'm coming out and I'm doing a large flex shape, but not all the way to the bottom. I'm stopping right about there and then I'm doing a C curve. So go ahead and just try that pen stroke. It's a long takeoff, make a large flex shape, and then a C curve at the bottom. So the way I like to do this, and if you're still practicing that, you can pause. I don't think I said it on this video. I'm going to go at my own pace on the video. So if it's too fast, you can pause and enjoy your pen strokes. You are never behind. I'm just managing the size of the video. Okay, so this is the way I like to do it. If your curve is curving to the right, I like to turn my paper to the right. We're going to do another takeoff and you're going to do that same shape. Turn to the right and another one to the right. Okay. If your curve is going to the left, you're going to turn to the left, meaning if you might be lefty, you might be taking off this way And if you're doing that, you're going to turn your paper to the left. I find the layering to be a little bit easier in this direction. Layering them on that outer curve. Now, having said that, you can do it anyway. This is a suggestion. This is my comfort zone. But if you like to come in and do it, it doesn't matter to you, go for it. Okay? Again, no judgment on this. But that is the pen stroke. Okay? A large flux shape with a little C curve at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to go to our tile. I'm going to work on a Zentangle today. So this is a round tile. It's a Zentangle tile. Does not matter about what you're doing this in, journal, paper, no judgment. I'm going to put my orb off center. You can put this right in the center if you want. I'm going to go a little bit asymmetrical. So I'm not in the center. And we're going to work Fluxism all the way around. So that pen shape, turn your tile. And you might say, well, how close together? I have gaps in here, and I may come around and do more in between my gaps. So I'm really just letting each pen stroke be its own thing with a nice takeoff from that orb. And that keeps my hand loose. It's not forced into anything. By doing these rhythm tangles where you can do the same pen stroke, turn your tile, and do that pen stroke again, you're forming memory, muscle memory in your hand. And that helps the pen stroke be the same all the way around. When you can keep your hand nice and calm and do the same pen stroke, and we're turning our tile to fit the comfort of our hand. I'm going to switch to my 05 because I like tangling with an 05. PN's okay too, doesn't matter. Okay, so you can keep your Fluxism flower-ish just like it is, but I'm going to see if I could get another layer in here. So I have a gap right here. This one doesn't have as flowy of a takeoff. I'm going to see if I can add another one of those shapes nestled in there. I may or may not get there. Some, like this one's going to be really tiny. If you can't fit another one in, no problem. Some of mine are really close together right from the start, so I'm not going to be able to fit another layer in really large. Go with what your tile needs right now. So you can see I'm not doing a real takeoff on this layer. I'm coming into this point right here, and I'm really just taking off right from that point. There's not a long takeoff on a line. Okay, so I may be able to get a little baby guy in right here. So that's what I have for Fluxism. Pause the video, come back when you're caught up with that. I'm going to go ahead and keep going. So what we're doing in here, I'm going to go really close and refocus. If you look at each one of these shapes, so this is what we came down with. and then this is our ending C curve. We have this little triangle of a gap. I'm going to put an orb in that triangle and color in the remaining spaces, which we call an interstices. Okay, if the space is really tiny like this one is, you can really just color it in. I'm going to pull off a little bit just so it's a little easier to see when it's pulled off. So I'm finding those triangles, I'm adding an orb, and then I'm coloring in the interstices. And if you have a really big space, you can do multiple orbs. It's completely up to you. Fill that space whatever way feels comfortable for you. When you're doing this type of detail work, it's really helpful to loosen up your pen grip. It's very easy to start to tightening your grip when you're in small spaces, but that tightens up your hand also, and it can fatigue your hand very quickly when you have a really tight pen grip. And look at the cool center you get when you color in those spaces. I just think it's so much fun. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Just a reminder, pause if you're still tangling. Do not feel rushed. Okay, so in my flux shapes, I am going to add just a flick mark with a dash and give myself a little bit of character in those little areas. So it's the larger part of the Fluxism shape. And you can do this many, many different ways. I'm just doing a C curve with a flick at the end and a dot or a dash, however it comes out of my pen. There's my Fluxism pattern. Okay, so from here I'm going to add another tangle pattern. It's one of my favorites. This one is called Porcelain. And it is by Dina. Don't really know how to say her last name. Blage Schaefer, maybe? I apologize if I butchered that. And while I'm on the back of my tile, I am going to put our first tangle pattern name in there just so I don't forget it. Okay, so porcelain goes like this. You're going to have these cute little branches, petals-ish, maybe, I don't know, spikes coming out of here. I'm going to take off from one of the corners, and if I curve to the left, my petal is going to be on the left. So I curve to the left, I come down a little bit, do a C curve, and then connect. So notice how you have a gentle connection, take off land in there. And then at the bottom of that, I'm going to put a couple little dashes. The stem of that, I'm going to now take off from there, go to the right, and do one to the right. So all of the petals go away from the center. If you're thinking of this as the center part of the branch, when I go to the left, the petals on the left. When I go to the right, the petals on the right. Now I'm going to take off of here and I'm going to go to the left again and do a little one. Okay? And when you're done with your branch, on the inside flat part of each petal, you're going to put 3 little orbs or dots. They can be dots also. So that's porcelain. And when I get done with going around with porcelain, I like to come in and add just some randomly placed nestled in orbs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in, branching off of Fluxism, these porcelain stems. And let me do a couple here. So you can see I made them a little bit bigger there because I had more space. You could branch them however you want, and then you come back and you add those dots. I think I tend to do dots. This is a good place if you want to add gel pen. Those dots are a great place to add gel pen. And just go ahead and work your way around your tile in whatever way works for you and the design that you have going on. I do like to do those dots at the end. I don't know why. remember that you can vary up those petal shapes. They can be large or small depending on the space that you have. Okay, so keep working on that. Pause the video, come back when you're ready. I'm going to go ahead and get the shading done on this one. Add in a little orb there that needed it. Okay, so simple shading, basic Zentangle pencil. I am going to come in around my orb just very lightly in each of those little pods that goes around that center orb. I'm just lightly putting in some graphite. And then I'm doing a little bit heavier graphite on the bigger sections of the Fluxism. You can see when I put this layer of graphite down, I'm not really being fussy. I'm just scribbling in graphite because I know my tortillon is going to come around and do the heavy work for me. So around that center, I'm going to spread out that graphite very lightly so that I get just a little bit around the orb, but the outside parts of that area stay white. And then when I come out to the larger sections, I'm going to spread that out, giving me a darker bottom. So you can see how I have a little bit of shading at the bottom of each of those larger petals. But with the graphite, my paper stump has quite a bit of graphite on it. It's pretty dirty and probably needs to be cleaned. So I'm going to come out to these bigger sections of these petals. They're still pretty white out here, and I'm just going to give it just a little bit of graphite in almost like a C curve. I'm just darkening, change my light here a little bit so you can see, just darkening just a little bit on the outer tips of those petals because they seem a little bit too white. And I'm not adding graphite out there, I'm just using the graphite that's on my paper stump. And it gives you just enough little bit of contrast in there. So I want to talk, I've been saying paper stump, and let me explain the difference. So this is a tortillon and this is a paper stump. A tortillon is a piece of paper that is rolled. So notice how it's hollow, and you can see kind of there's ridges in the edge. So it's rolled and then it's pushed to make the point. Okay, this is, I could take this and flatten this. It's crushable. Okay, this is a tortillon. A paper stump is molded paper fibers. So this is solid. I cannot bend this. This is also double-ended to points. So they're both methods to smudging graphite. I have them both in my basic kit because they work a little bit differently in my eyes for me. The tortillon, which is the rolled piece of paper, is stiffer. Okay, so when I really want to get graphite blended into a piece of paper, this feels a little bit more firm. Okay, paper stumps, the molded paper, is a little bit softer. The ends are a little bit softer. I could still get into the paper as much as I need to, but it has just a different feel. So I like them both. I keep them both. You cannot sharpen a tortillon. You can, if the paper gets smushed and you lose your point, you can unroll a paper clip, stick it in there and push out the point a little bit, but you can't sharpen this or anything like that. The only way to clean it is an emery board or a piece of paper that you scribble on. Okay. Cleaning on this is the same, emery board or scribble it off like I did here. I used it without adding graphite to it, but you can take a razor or X-Acto knife and you can trim this into a brand new point. So it doesn't work great in a sharpener, but you can shave this down and get a brand new point. So I do love this. This paper stumps are also great because one side could be for white chalk and one side could be for graphite, which is great. So if you hear me saying about the two interchangeably, that is the difference between the two tools. Okay, so that's our Fluxism in there. I am going to add one addition to this in pen that I just realized I didn't do when tangling. I'm looking at this outer flux shape. I'm going to go ahead and do a tethered aura in there and color that in, leaving that center highlight. Excuse me. Got a little frog in my throat there for a second. So I'll zoom in and I'll do that again. I find that outer curve. I do a tethered aura, meaning point to point, and then I'm coloring that in from either end, leaving the center open. So when you color something like this in, you do not want that center part to look like a square. You want to, I'm going to do one here, come from the end and flick your pen so that you have a jagged edge on either side. If you try to make a square, it's not going to look like a highlight, it's going to look like a square. So tethered aura, jagged edge. And you can see that just gives you a little bit of weighting on that edge. Okay, so you can see that that gives it just more body. I kept looking at it going, it's too lightweight. This gave it more weight, more body. Okay, so now we can come into porcelain. Reminder to pause if you're still working on that aura-ing. When you're ready, come on back. Okay, so in porcelain, all we're going to do is at the bottom where we put those little flick marks, we're going to just lay a little bit of graphite, blend it up, and leave the top part of those petals bright. So notice it's dark at the bottom, bright at the top. Super easy. So all of our tiles this week are about gentle tangling Nothing fussy. You can add more line weights, more details if you choose, but the purpose is just a basic layer of shading, couple cool tangles, breath and gratitude. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and add your chop to honor what you created. That chop goes on the front because we're proud of what we did. When you are done, if you haven't already, hold out your tile. And when you have your moment of gratitude, really look and appreciate what you created. No judgment, just appreciation for the time. Take a nice big inhale and exhale. Invite positive energy throughout your mind and body, and release that tension, and you are ready to go. Thank you very much for tangling with me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.